Hi, I'm Dan with etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Firestone Ride-Rite air helper springs on our 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 3500. Our neighbor's using his 3500 to haul around a big toy hauler, and when he first brought this in, the toy hauler was pushing down on the back of his truck and it was sagging about 3 inches, and it was definitely noticeable. So if you're traveling any long periods of time with that weight on there, you're going to notice some drivability issues, and it's going to wear on your suspension because it's sagging that lower back end down, putting a lot of pressure on those back end tires, and it's going to raise that front end up. So the drivability is going to be a little bit worse, and your stopping power. So getting airbags is going to just help you level everything out and have you a way better towing experience and be a lot safer. If you want to take a closer look on how these are going to work and how they're going to level out your load, we got some footage of us in the shop hooking up our fifth wheel and airing those up. And after that, we'll go ahead and pull our truck in and take a closer look at the airbags installed. We're about to pull the fifth wheel trailer out of the shop, and the fifth wheel is completely supported by its jack stands. So our truck is factory right now, so now's a good time for us to get that factory measurement. I'm just going to measure from the ground to the top of the wheel well, and after that, we'll put some weight on and see how much this sags. This dropped a whole 3 inches, which is quite a lot. That's putting a ton of strain on the back of your vehicle and lifting the front end up. So now we'll use these airbags and fill them up with some air and get this truck back close to factory ride height. We got these aired up, and now we can take our fifth wheel out, and this will be a lot comfier of a ride. And this is what your bags are going to look like installed on your truck. I'll hold up the jounce bumper about where it would be installed. This is over double the length, so this is going to be constantly giving you support when you have a trailer on there or load in the bed. The jounce bumper really is just there to prevent you from bottoming out for your frame to hit the metal of your axle. So really this is only going to be effective if you're going over train tracks or over a big bump, but these are going to be constantly supporting. Now, these can go from 5 PSI to 100 PSI. Do keep them at those 5 just to maintain your bags and keep them long lasting. Now, another thing is these are capable of supporting loads up to 5,000 pounds. Now, that is a lot, so do check your payload capacity and make sure you're not overloading your bed. These bags do have a crimped roll cap on either end, and these are really nice compared to some of the other ones that we have on the market because you can drop this axle, maybe you're working on it and you're supporting it by the axle, or you're going up a curve and the axle is dropping on one side. These are less prone to rupture, so you can keep your bags a lot longer than some of the other ones. Now, this one does have custom bracketry that will fit with your truck, and it's just hooking into part of the axle, which is really nice, and it makes installation a lot easier because you don't have to drill into anything. It has an included heat shield for your exhaust right there, and it also has some heat shield for your tubing, so you don't have to burn that up. And at the back here, it will have a custom bracket that you can mount your air fitting to, so you don't have to drill any holes back here either. Firestone has added some really nice features to this kit, so you can't really go wrong. But if you're a heavy hauler or you're having a trailer hooked up to this vehicle at all times, it is a 3500, so you might need something with some higher weight capacities. We do have a red label kit that will increase those weight stats just a little bit. All in all, these are great, but if you have any questions about what suspension enhancement is going to be best for you and your truck, please feel free to reach out to us here at etrailer, and we'd love to help you out. As far as install goes, these are really easy. Like I said, there's no drilling, and the custom bracketry makes it pretty easy as well. But if you need these done right away, maybe you don't have the time or tools, you can check out our dealer locator. We can find a professional in your area to get these installed for you. But if you're looking to do it yourself, follow along and I'll walk you through the process. Now, first off, we've already removed our spare tire and removed our heat shield. I just used a 13mm socket. There's just 2 bolts. Just got that removed. We'll put that back up after we're done installing our airbags. Now, if you're doing this on the ground, you can use a floor jack to raise that truck bed up just so you have some more space to work under there, but we're just using a pull jack here. Now we'll go ahead and get under there and remove our factory jounce bumpers. Just use a flathead and pry these out. And we'll just set these aside. Now we'll go ahead and build up our upper bracket. So we'll take our upper bracket here and take our 2 half circle brackets, place them right on here. These will eventually tighten and clamp around our cup that our jounce bumper was sitting in. And we have some flat-headed screws that I'll feed up through the bottom and just secure with a nut here. Just want to leave these loose for now. I'll just get all 4 of these attached. We'll take our black bolts and we'll feed those through our brackets on either side, just having the head facing our bent piece. And I'll just thread on our nut on these as well. And I'm just going to do just a couple threads because we need this to be pretty wide so we can fit this around that cup. I'll get this around that cup all the way up. You want this top bracket to be straight up against the frame, and you don't want any gaps between your cup and the bracket itself. So you want to push this all the way up, and now I'll get our black bolts tightened. I'm going to use a 7/16 socket and get this tightened up. And you want to tighten these up evenly so one side's not extremely tight and the other side's loose. So I'll go back and forth. Once those are tightened up, we can get a 7/32 hex head bit for the fasteners on the bottom. Again, you just want to push this up, make sure it's straight, and get these tightened up. Now I'm going to torque these down. Where you find those torque values are actually on top of your airbag, so just check that depending on what size bolt you have. And if you don't have a torque wrench at home, you can usually rent one from your local auto parts store, or you can buy one from us at etrailer. Now we'll take our bag, I'll put it on top of our bottom bracket. You want to make sure your threaded fill port is going to be facing the rounded port on your bracket. Now I'll flip this completely over and get our hardware threaded in. I'm going to leave this loose for now, and we'll go ahead and test fit our bag. There'll be a small alignment pin on your bag. Now you want this to line up with the middle slot. There's going to be 3, and you want that to line up just with that middle one there. So I'll get this put in place. And I know I'm in the one closest to me, so I'll rotate it. And now I'm in the middle. And so now you're just wanting to make sure that your bag is straight and in line with both brackets. So I'll get this situated. Let's see. Okay. You also want the bottom bracket to be pushed back against the U-bolts and centered between them the best you can. And once you've done that, you can come back with a marker and get this marked up for alignment. I took it back out and I lined it up with my marks. And now I'll get the bottom bolt fastened down. And once it's tightened down, we'll also torque it down. Might spin on you a little bit, so just try and hold it, both of them together. I got our airbag back in place and we're looking good. And you just want to make sure that alignment tab is in the center. So ours is in the center. And at the top, on the fill port, we'll put a toothed washer. and then our larger nut. I'm going to get this tightened all the way down. I'll take an 1 1/8" wrench and get this tightened up. Now, since this is so close to our upper bracket, it might be hard to get a socket on there, but do the best you can to tighten it and torque this down. I have our air fitting, and I'll get this threaded in the top of our air port here. And I got a 9/16" wrench. And I'm gonna get this tightened up. You don't wanna go too tight, so I'm just going to snug it down. And if we connect everything and determine there's a leak, then we can tighten it more later on. We have some clamps that are gonna slide down and hook on to part of our frame. Then I'll take a carriage bolt, put that through, and secure it with a nut. And I'll do this on both sides. Now I'll take a 9/16" ratcheting wrench and get both sides tightened up. And again, you want to tighten both of these evenly. Now we can torque these down. There is a brake line in our way, so I'm going to use a crow's foot adapter to get this in there. And I'll torque both sides. Now you can repeat this same process on the passenger side. The only difference is you're going to have a heat shield. This is where your exhaust is. You just want to make sure you put this on before you put the bag up into place. When running your lines, you want to make sure to keep it away from anything hot or moving. Now over on our passenger side here, it is really close to our exhaust, so they do give you a heat shield. So I'll get this cut to length and attached. And when cutting your line, you want to make sure you have a nice clean cut. I got a pair of airline tubing cutters here. And you want to make sure it's straight and there's no burrs. I'll get our heat shield that they give you for your wire. And when I connect this into the air fitting, I just want to make sure it goes all the way down. You might have to apply a bit of pressure. And then I'm just going to give it a tug, make sure it's fully in. Now I installed our air fill here. Normally you would have two that fills each bag individually, but our neighbor opted to just have one. He got a T-fitting, and that just allows you to split off into each bag. But from here, I went ahead and routed it to our bags. I did leave a little slack just in case they need to move this. And this line's going all the way over on our driver's side to our T-fitting right here. And on this side, it's going to our driver's side bag. And then it's teeing off over here. And this side is traveling all the way to our passenger side bag. Firestone does include this bracket, just zip ties around this hitch with some really heavy duty zip ties. Now, if you don't want to have this bracket, there is a couple other options. You can do a spot in your license plate, maybe one of the fasteners there, or plastic of your bumper. Got an airline, and I'm going to fill these bags up to 70 PSI so we can test them for leaks. I have a soapy water solution, and I'm going to spray this on all of our fittings. I like to start right at the air fill valve, just see if that is leaking. We'll look good there. We'll go in the back here. And what we're looking for is just bubbles that are constantly forming. So we're looking good there as well. I'll go to our T-fitting. And if there is a leak, all you have to do is take the air out of the bags, unconnect the hose by pushing down on this ring and then pulling out on that hose, recutting, make sure there's no burrs, and then just retest everything after you reconnect it. So as you can see, there is a leak on our bag here. You can see those bubbles constantly forming. So what I'll do is I'll tighten this fitting until we don't have any bubbles. I tightened it up and I'll just check it again just to make sure. And as you can see, no big bubbles are forming, so we're all good. Once you've determined there are no leaks in your system, you can put that heat shield back up, put your spare tire back up, and hook up your trailer and air your airbags up. Now that just about does it for the look at the Firestone Air Ride airbags on our 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 3500. Thanks for watching.